Friends, today I want to tell you about what can destroy your wealth and prosperity. It's something you never expected to hear, but it can change your whole life. Are you ready to learn this secret? Then get ready, because what I'm about to tell you can forever change your view on money and success. Let's start with the fact that Buddhists believe that money itself is neither good nor bad. It's just a tool that can be used for good or ill. The problem arises when we become attached to money, when it becomes an end in itself rather than a means to achieve happiness and harmony. Buddhism teaches us that true wealth lies not in the accumulation of material goods, but in the attainment of inner freedom and peace. When we stop identifying ourselves with money and start to perceive it as a simple tool for achieving our goals, then we become its masters, not its slaves. This allows us to use money more effectively and wisely, directing it towards what is truly important to us, whether it's helping those in need, investing in our own development, or creating harmonious relationships with those around us. It is this attitude towards money, based on Buddhist principles, that allows us not only to preserve, but also to multiply our wealth. One of the main Buddhist commandments is do not steal. This is not only a prohibition on theft of others' property, but also a warning against any form of greed and avarice. Buddhists believe that if we strive to accumulate wealth at any cost, without caring for others, in the end it will destroy us from within. Greed breeds fear of losing what we have, and in the end we become slaves to our money, not its masters. Instead, Buddhism calls us to generosity and compassion, teaching us to share our wealth with those in need. When we live according to this principle, we find inner harmony and peace, and our prosperity only grows. For true wealth lies not in how much we have, but in how we use our resources for the benefit of ourselves and others. Another important Buddhist commandment is do not lie. Deception, whether in business, personal relationships, or elsewhere, inevitably leads to loss of trust and destruction. Buddhists teach that honesty and openness are the foundation of any healthy relationship, including financial ones. If we lie and manipulate for the sake of profit, in the end we will lose much more than we gain. Lies destroy trust, and without trust it is impossible to build strong and mutually beneficial business relationships. On the contrary, when we act with sincerity and transparency, we create an atmosphere of openness and understanding around us, which allows us not only to preserve, but also to multiply our wealth. After all, it is honesty and reliability that are the key factors of success in any business or financial activity. Another important Buddhist principle is do not kill. This is not only a prohibition on physical murder, but also a warning against any actions that can harm others. Buddhists believe that if we profit at the expense of others, exploiting them or causing them harm, this will inevitably affect our own well-being. True wealth comes when we learn to live in harmony with the world around us. When we treat other people with compassion and respect, when we care for the environment and strive to minimize our negative impact, then we create a field of positive energy around us that attracts prosperity and abundance. On the contrary, if we soullessly exploit others for our own benefit, we will inevitably face negative consequences, whether it's loss of reputation, lawsuits, or even physical threats. Therefore, Buddhism calls us to treat all living beings with love and compassion, understanding that we are all interconnected and that our well-being directly depends on the well-being of those around us. Finally, Buddhists teach that we must not abuse alcohol and drugs. This is not only a prohibition on the use of intoxicants, but also a warning against any form of addiction and self-destruction. Buddhists believe that if we try to suppress our problems with the help of alcohol or drugs, in the end it will destroy our ability to think clearly and make the right decisions, which will inevitably affect our financial well-being. When we are in a state of intoxication or under the influence of mind-altering substances, we lose control over ourselves, make reckless decisions, and make mistakes that can lead to serious financial losses. In addition, addiction to alcohol or drugs inevitably leads to health problems, which also affects our financial stability. Therefore, Buddhism calls us to sobriety, clarity of mind, and self-control, understanding that only in this way can we make balanced and effective decisions that will allow us to preserve and multiply our wealth. Another important Buddhist commandment is do not commit adultery. This is not only a prohibition on infidelity or unfaithfulness in personal relationships, but also a warning against any unethical behavior that can destroy our connections with others. Buddhists believe that if we use other people for our own selfish purposes without caring about their feelings and needs, this will inevitably lead to loss of trust and respect. And without these key elements, it is impossible to build strong and mutually beneficial relationships, whether in personal life or in business. On the contrary, when we treat others with genuine attention and care, when we respect their boundaries and values, then we create an atmosphere of trust and harmony around us that attracts prosperity and abundance. After all, it is on the basis of healthy and mutually respectful relationships that any successful enterprise or financial activity is built. Another important Buddhist commandment is do not be idle. This is not only a call to diligence and responsibility, but also a warning against any form of laziness and idleness that can destroy our well-being. Buddhists believe that if we passively wait for money and success to fall into our laps, we will never achieve our goals. Instead, we need to be active, purposeful, and willing to make efforts to achieve our goals. Only then can we truly realize our potential and create a solid financial foundation for ourselves. After all, it is diligence, perseverance, and responsibility that are the key factors of success in any field, whether it's business, investments, or career growth. Therefore, Buddhism calls us not to be idle, but to constantly work on ourselves, developing our skills and increasing our efficiency. Finally, Buddhists teach us do not be greedy. This is not only a prohibition on excessive accumulation of wealth, but also a warning against any form of avarice and the pursuit of profit at any cost. Buddhists believe that if we are obsessed with the desire to have more and more, in the end it will destroy our inner balance and harmony. Instead, we need to learn to live in moderation and be content with what we have. Only then can we truly appreciate and cherish our wealth, rather than becoming its slaves. For true wealth lies not in the amount of money, but in our ability to use it with wisdom and nobility, directing it towards what is truly important to us and to those around us. Therefore, Buddhism calls us to be generous, to care for others, and not to forget the spiritual values that ultimately determine true well-being. Friends, these Buddhist commandments may seem simple and obvious, but their deeper meaning lies in the fact that they teach us to live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. If we follow these principles, we can not only preserve our wealth, but also multiply it. Because true wealth is not only money, but also inner harmony, the trust of others, and a sense of satisfaction from living in accordance with our values.